Welcome back. In these sections, we're going to have a look at D1 sections 4. And as it's on the section 4, it says the title is previous license details. So we're going to find out what license you currently have and then what you can do with it. So it says, was your license a photocard license or it's a paper license? So basically it's a new version of your license or it's the old versions. If it's the old one, that will be in a paper base. And if it's a new one, it will be photocard. Just tick the box and move to the next stage. Next questions. If you have given up driving because you were disqualified in Great Britain, please give the date and say which court dealt with it. So whenever anyone get a disqualifications, it's mostly with a court. So this is why they're looking for which court has done it for you. And then what date, month, and the year. They've given you the date, exact date they have disqualified. So that's what the information they're looking for. Usually you would receive letters by the post to say you're disqualified by the whatever the court have taken the decisions against you. Okay, next questions on these sections. Are you currently disqualified in any other country? So they're not just talking about the UK or any court in the UK. They're talking about any other country in the world. It's not EU. EU you're looking for. They're just looking for throughout the world. Is anywhere else you've been driving badly? And if you do, that's what this is. Yes, and then which country it was you disqualified in. That's just a name, put the date on. It's also looking for what is the expiry date shows on the license or entitlement you are reviewing. So I believe whatever the letters or the details you're going to get, if it's usually in the UK, they tell you exactly how long you've been disqualified for and when you can come back in for a reviewing, which is the date, month, and the year. What we'll be looking for. Okay, that's end of these sections. We'll see you in the next video. Okay, so on that section, what it says, you must fill up either part A or part B, or if you don't fill any one of it, we will send your applications back to you. So basically, if you do not fill up your part A or part B on sections 5, your applications will be returned back to you. So make sure you have filled this informations. If you have already told us about a medical condition that could affect your fitness to drive, and you have no new medical conditions, miss out part A and go to part B on these sections. So basically what they're trying to say, if you have already told them that your medical conditions, what it was before, like when we applied for the old sections. So if you remember on our few last videos, when we did apply the license using the old system and we told, yes, we have some medical condition, that's what they're looking for. Part A, have you ever had or do you currently suffer from any of the following conditions? So they're asking for the conditions below in here. They're about 22. They have listed and says, is any one of them applied to you? Start off, answer is quite simple, is no or yes. Most likely they're looking for the no, but if you say yes, which one of these? You can put multiple of them. If that's applied to you, that's not a problem. You can apply for all 22s or just pick one or two, whichever you think is most relevant to you. Here's one of the important things. It says, if you have answered yes to one of these above questions, you might be required to complete the medical questionnaires. Questions are available on the DVLA website and to be sent with your applications. On a part B, only fill in this part if you have told us about the medical conditions before and what was your condition. So if you've told them already before, that's what the only information wants to know. And then we'll just make sure there's nothing have changed. Next questions. Have you had any special control fitted to your vehicle since your last license was issued? So what they're trying to say is a lot of people who have a disability requirements and that's adapted to their vehicle, like steering wheel, foot controls and things. And if they do, that's what they're looking for. Have you done anything like this? If you did, let them know. And if he says no, we move on. Next is a document check. Document check says make sure you have enclosed the following where they apply. Tick the appropriate boxes. So the correct fee, see leaflet INS 115 for the fees and the details on how to pay. So if you're filling this form with me, it's a £43. That you can be done with a check or postal order, what we have looked at before. identity documentations, if this is applies, so tick the box. Your last license and the counterpart, if this applies. Your test pass certificate, if this applies. So some of the time you have to apply by yourself by ticking this box after you pass your test. That's you have to do by yourself. So you need to send your certifications and tick the box and continue onwards. So you can see all these boxes, not all of them apply to you, but some of them are going to apply to you as well. So whatever is apply, you're just going to tick it up, and the rest you leave the blank. You don't have to fill up everything. Your test pass certificate. Okay, so it's above in here what we have seen, your category where you have changed from provisional license to UK license. This is another thing where it's a very tricky one to have a look at it. It's some of the time when we take people to the driving test and we find out the address have not updated on their license, but they have passed. So examiners cannot automatically send your license to you. So in that case, what you need to do, you need to get the certificate and filling up this D1 form, ticking this box, your test pass certificate number, tick this box, and then you need to send your relevant documents, which your provisional license and your pass certificate, including this form. So you might used to use a secure delivery service to send your identity documents to use, includes a prepaid secure envelope for us to send this back to you. So this red bit is quite interesting for some of these people who are not used to with the UK post office system. What they're trying to say, you can't securely deliver it, which is going to charge you some X amount of money. But that's going to give you a guarantee that your documentations has received to DVLA. So that's not been lost in the middle. And if they do, the delivery people are responsible for. At the same time, what they're trying to say, once you're sending this envelope to DVSA, add another envelope in order for the DVSA to use and return your documents back to you. So there will be guaranteed post that comes to you. You should not lost any documentations. So depending on what information you're sending or the documents you're giving, if that's a very, very important information like a passport, your other marriage certificate, divorce certificate, I don't know, whatever is your information and how secure important it is for you. And if you think that's very important, you can't really lose to lost it. This is a service for you to provide, so you make sure you get these things back. Okay, so I believe this is end of sections 5, and we now move on to the section 6. On 6, confirming your identity. Tick the documents you are providing to prove your identity. See page 6, 7, and 8 in an INF, which is info 1D for more details. So is where photocopies are not acceptable. So if you have any documentation that you want to send it to DVLA, they're not going to accept any of the photocopies. They want your original copies. So this is why you might always going to have a risk of losing them. Use a registered services if you're sending your original document, and make sure you fill up another envelope so you can get them back. So the document they're going to accept is a passport, your UK birth or adoption certificate, EC or EE identity card, travel documents, evidence of SRP, state retirement pensions. Also, please write your identity number of the documents you are providing. So how many of them you are sending, please put the number in here. That's what they're looking for. Also, it's continue with the number 6, ticking the documents you are also providing to show a clear link to your current name if different from that shows in your passport, birth certificate, or adoption certificate. So give them the clear instructions to say, especially if you have name changes like your marriage change, divorce, or your adoptions, that sort of thing. So many people who have so many different conditions. So that's what they're trying to make sure the documents you're giving, it's yours, and they're not thinking it's mismatched with other people. So your declarations, which is why you tick the box, and also please write the identity number of the documents you are providing. So whatever your documents you are providing and the ID, and you tick in the declarations to say, yeah, providing these informations and what ID you're providing. That's what they're looking for in here. So that's hopefully this clear for end of section 6. Let's move on to the section 7. On section 7, it is signing your photographs. So if you are providing your identity documents other than a non-up-to-date UK EC or EE passport, someone reliable must sign back of your photographs. So if you're not above any one of this country and you need to apply for UK license, back of your photo, which is like your passport size photo, someone has to be signed and the person has to be responsible. And the person has to be reliable and what they're so looking for in a married. Okay, so see page 8 and 9. Again, that form, which is the info 1D, for more details who can do it for you. And this person must be known you personally at least for 2 years and must not be relative or member of the post office. So the person who's receiving this post from you, they cannot be one. Your relatives, friends, family members, not allowed, or staff of the processing this application. So is someone helping you on this application if they cannot do it as well. If you choose to use your premium check services, see the page 13. So there's a number of options they're giving you, but the best practice for me, I would say so, you pick someone like a teacher, who you know for a long time, your driving instructor, your solicitor, your counselor, your MP, and that kind of people who are not related to you, but you know you for enough, or know you for at least for 2 years. Some of the time we have a mosque, the imam can do it. If you go for the church, the father can do it. And that sort of people who know you for well, but they are responsible or they're in a profession job, who can do that for you. Yeah, your manager, like if you're working, your manager can do it, or your supervisor can do it if they know for a number of years. That's all what they need. So state how many years you have known this applicant for. So number of years you need to put it in, they need to put it in here. And this must be at least for 2 years. So if they're known for less than 2 years, they should not be fill up this form for you. I have signed and the back of the photograph, which is a true likely of the applicant. So they have given the sign to tell that the photo is look like you. So you are the one in the photo. That's what they're trying to say. Then they have to give in their details, which is a date, their name, their business address, if they're business person, qualification, their address done, their contact number, their profession, and their qualifications. So that's the two things which makes it different than a family and friend. And there's a little warning in here for everyone, which says, warning, we will make a random check on those who sign the photographs for the driving license applicant. So time to time, they can call up people just to make sure, yes, no one misusing this service. Okay, so once this sections 7 done, we've only last one left to go before we can submit the applications. So see you on the last sections. Your signature. You now signing this form to tell them you understand that it's a criminal offense if I make or anyone else making a false declarations to get a license, and do so you can lead your prosecutions and it's a fine up to £2,500. I also understand it is an offense to fail to provide information which can be lead a prosecutions and with a fine of £1,000. So what they're trying to say, you're not messing around with the form to just submitting the form. And also if you're giving the wrong details, that's also going to be prosecutions, which is illegal, and they can fine you for that, doing that. Okay, you then put the date on to say you're not doing that, you're the genuine person and you genuinely believe you deserve a driving license. That's the reason why you're filling up this form. And then you need to give your signature using this box. So try not to touch the border from any side, because this is the border is going to get scanned and then it's going to be pasted into your driving license, which is going to come in a card printing. So if you go outside the box, the computer might not able to read and they will send back to you, and the process is just now going longer because you did not fill up the instructions properly. Okay, now if you do get the form from a D1 form from post office, this bit you can actually peel it out, and there's some sticks there, and the stickiness is there for you to just stickiness there so your photo stays on it and doesn't move around. However, if you have printed out like what I've given to you and then you want to do it, just make sure you put some kind of small stickiness if you need to, but make sure it's easily removable. And if you don't want to use anything, that's also fine. But because of this, the peel out, you don't have to cut it out and do it. You just make sure you put your photo there so they can get access to it. If you don't have a photo, they're not going to be able to continue with that. And then this section is for the post office date and stamp if you are asking for them to check professionally. Now, the last bits, which is what their declarations to say, we no longer issue a paper license, so they don't do anymore a paper license. Your new license will be plastic photo card, and the paper counterpart will be accompanied with it, and the paper counterpart will come, which going to count you if you receive any points over the years. You must produce both if your police or the court ask for them. So you have to provide the both of them to the court or the police if they ask for it. You should also present both when you're taking a driving test. Other organizations such as a vehicle hire firms, insurance companies could ask for this both papers. So let me wrap it up for you quickly. What they're saying, once you apply for a license, they don't do the paper license anymore. They're only going to send you a photo card, but within that photo card, you will have a paper version of counterpart. So it's not a license, it's a counterpart. And that counterpart, it needs to be present to the court or to the police if they ask for it. There's two other people who can ask for it, or the firm. One is if you're hiring a vehicle, or the insurance company who are going to insure your vehicle to drive. Hopefully that's wrapped up the whole sections, and that's the end of this D1 form, and it's wrap it up all together. Still, guys, if you have any questions, any sections you really don't understand and you really need a bit more help, please make a comment and we'll come back with a different video or maybe updated version of the video to make it better and to understand. But all are going to happen if you make a comment and then asking for it. Now at the end, if you do think this video did help you anyway, there will be other people who you think can get help for it. Please do share it to let other people get help from. Thank you.